and welcome to today's video break. Psalm 55 verse 15 says, "Let death take my enemies by surprise. Let them go down alive into the realm of the dead, for evil finds lodging among them." Can you just see this? David had a close friend that was coming up against him. I'm sure that there was divisions amongst his leadership. I'm sure that he was facing so many, oh my goodness, so many heartaches. But then he comes to this verse and man, you just really get a pop of David's heart and all the angst he's under. And I'm sure some of you can really relate. Haven't you ever just prayed something like this for someone? I don't know if I've ever gotten this angry where I've prayed, God, take them away. Take them away. And I'm thinking, I don't know what would cause that or stir that in my heart to get to that place. I don't want to be tested that way. But I'm sure there's some of us out there that and I just read this morning in the New Testament when Jesus says, forgive. And then he not only says that, he says things like, love your enemies. I wonder what God whispered in his ear when he said this out loud to God. Do you think God whispered, David, I'm calling you to love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. This is some wise advice from Jesus. And Jesus had enemies. Jesus had people that were willing to take, not only willing, but desiring to take his life. And I'm wondering what whispers in our ears when we're willing, when we say things like this. God, take them. But Jesus has a different perspective. And I love it because I said this to somebody today, that we can allow the enemy, those who are coming up against us, to control our lives. And we do that by becoming angry, by becoming resentful, by becoming, letting it run through our minds all the time. They're still in control. They still have the power. But you know what? There's something that's so much more powerful than hate, and it's love. It's the very source that God gives us to become overcomers with people who we would mark our enemy box, is to start loving them. Jesus actually says to pray for those who are persecuting and to love your enemies, because he knew the power that the enemy would hold over us if we chose not to. And that's what David was facing. He couldn't get over the amount of power that they had over him. So God, just take them. Well, that's one way. But I'm wondering if sometimes we don't get to choose who we work with, and sometimes we don't even get to choose who we go to church with, and sometimes we might get angry and allow that anger to become so much a part of our brain that we become fixated on it, and then we soon realize that that's what's controlling our behavior instead of the love of Christ that wants to love other people. And so, friends, here's the challenge. Do what Jesus says and love your enemy. And maybe you're thinking, Saber, I can't do that quite yet. Okay, then do this. Start praying for those who are coming up against you. Pray for those who persecute you. And you, my friend, have a blessed day praying.